today's top stories, and we're joined by Nick Ferrari and Vanessa Feltz. Good morning to both of you. We're going to kick off with this Sue Gray's report into Downing Street. It's finally been published. I mean, I have been waiting for this report. Yes. I'm so happy.
Well, it's finally here, but it wasn't the full list of findings, was it, Nick?
Anything but. And let's just run through some of the numbers. So there are 500 pages of evidence. There are 300 pictures. There are 16 parties that we know of. And the Sue Gray report was 12 pages, one of which is the title page. 2 are left blank. 3 are what called appendices. There are just 6 pages. 50 Shades of Grey, the Sue Gray report was not. It was a real disappointment, and I think it's probably left as many questions unanswered as it's found any answers to anything.
I mean, what it's really done is just put the whole thing in paralysis, so nobody can... It's just preserved us in aspect like this. And we can't move, and that's really what's happening. I mean, what was fascinating about the whole thing was the confrontation, the argy-bargy and everything else that was going on in the House of Commons yesterday. It was absolutely riveting. It was like watching a soap opera. It was absolutely amazing.
We've got a little clip of Boris apologising yesterday. Let's have a look.
I want to say sorry. And I'm sorry for the things we simply didn't get right, and also sorry for the way that this matter has been handled. And it's no use saying that this or that was within the rules, and it's no use saying that people were working hard. This pandemic was hard for everyone. Mr. Speaker, I get it, and I will fix it.
And I think that sort of riles people up even more, because when he's saying, there's no use saying, well, this and that was in the rules or wasn't in the rules. There's no use saying this, you know, people have been working hard. Well, no, there's really a lot of use in that, actually.
Well, he's saying there's no use saying it, but he's the person who said it. Who said it? Who said it was within the rules? He said it. Who said, you know, we were working so hard we really had to have recourse to vol au vent, cocktail sausages, secret Santas and plenty of alcohol at all times just to lubricate the proceedings? He said it. And then he's telling everybody else there's no use saying it. Well, you said it. It was you who said it. So that is an annoying thing, but I don't know whether Nick thinks that he first of all held the room at the beginning when he said, I'm sorry, and really speedily seemed to lose the room, didn't he? Yeah.
I think the place to look are the backbenches. I think that's where is how much support... Because the only electorate that can turf the Prime Minister out of his job is the Conservative Party. It doesn't fall to the rest of it. It doesn't actually fall to the House. The Conservative Party have to rebel. And that's what the Johnson supporters will be looking at very carefully. They lost a couple more. Andrew Mitchell, who was a senior, he was a cabinet minister. No real surprise there. He was very much the David Davis. He was the one, remember, 2 weeks ago, who said, in the name of God, go. So they won't be surprised at how they lost Theresa May, but the impact with which she went after him. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, this must have been in the deep freeze for about the last 2.5 years, because she really, really nailed him, didn't she?
Well, let's have a look, shall we?
What the Gray report does show is that number 10 Downing Street was not observing the regulations they had imposed on members of the public. So either my right honourable friend had not read the rules, or didn't understand what they meant, and others around him, or they didn't think the rules applied to number 10. Which was it?
That is not what the Gray report says. It is not what the Gray report says. But if I suggest that she waits to see the conclusion of the inquiry.
Oh, it's drama in there, isn't it?
Well, you think she was writing that quickly on the back of a bus ticket to get it absolutely perfect, really rehearsing that delivery, because when she was Prime Minister, she didn't really drive it home with that kind of force, did she?
I mean, she's come into her own, hasn't she, now?
It's taken a long while, as Nick says, for her to come up with that, you know, quite nifty, pre-crafted one-liner that wasn't quite spontaneous, but, you know, kind of yes. But, I mean, enormous bouts of anger there. And Boris responded, didn't he, by going on the attack, which I think was very disappointing.
This will be the new tactic.
Many people.
You watch now. This is the key. What do your viewers, as they got up this morning, are they worried about that? Are they worried about a Prime Minister who might have misadvertently led the House, or might have... Are they more worried about the energy bills that are coming their way? Are they more worried about inflation? Are they more worried about shopping... Are they more worried about Ukraine? That's the game the government has to play. And are they worried about beating COVID, where England actually has quite, and I do say England, has quite a success story to tell?
Well, I think it's become quite draining, hasn't it? Every day there's another story waiting for the report. It's not here now, it's here. There's another party, there's another photo. That feeling that we all had really happened. When it happened once and we found out there was that garden party and we saw some pictures, you know, that got us. But now I think we're getting to the point where important stuff seems to be missed. So we'll talk about this. Is Partygate distracting from bigger issues at play? Downing Street is said to be scrambling to rearrange a phone call between Boris Johnson and between Putin after Partygate disrupted Boris's schedule. I mean, there's life that's being missed whilst we're worried about a cake and a...
There certainly is, although I find, you know, I've just come from doing my radio show, and I find that there are still many people who are exceptionally emotionally engaged in this particular Partygate story. They have not forgotten it. They are not bored with it. I've just taken a call this morning from a woman who said, I had to give birth alone. Yeah. My partner couldn't be there. I was all alone. He missed the actual birth. It was devastating. I'm never going to get over it. That level, you know, I couldn't go to my father's funeral. I couldn't sit with my mother in the care home. And those people are not going to just snap out of it, and they're also not going to be bored. They're not going to just have enough of it, because they are so upset. They are so, you know, distraught. It's a very significant thing for them. It's not just cake. It's not just sandwiches. It's much more.
What we've had enough of is the excuses. I think that's what I'm getting to. We've had enough of it. I'm sorry, but it's not. I'm sorry, but it's...
To Vanessa's point, this will not go away because of the personal investment that people have. The woman who had the child, the people who didn't say goodbye to grandma, or whatever. There is a personal investment that if it wasn't like that, if we hadn't been kept away from dying relatives, it wouldn't be quite so acute. But to your point, I mean, we are moving towards a very frightening situation in Ukraine, and it should be of concern that a scheduled call between the British Prime Minister, a key member of NATO, and Vladimir Putin could not proceed because the Prime Minister is in the House of Commons arguing about birthday cake. I mean, that really is a wake-up call, I do think, to a lot of folk.
It's a worry. It's a big worry.
I do wonder, though, how is he going to rectify this? What can he do? Is it him leaving, or is it... What can he do for all those people?
I think it might be down to I think he might be hoping it's down to two things, basically. One, some type of legal technicality, which means that he somehow isn't implicated, like he lives there, it was his actual garden, even if he was at a party, it wasn't, you know, that wasn't breaking any kind of actual law. So there may be some technical way out, or he's just hoping for time to elapse. But it's a long period of time, so people in the end can't quite remember what it was they were meant to be annoyed about.
But like you say, I don't think it's so deep, and it's so personal and painful for everybody that I don't think time
unless, and I don't wish this, but if there was an invasion or an incursion by Russia into Ukraine, that moves the news caravan on, and suddenly we move on from that. Yeah. And that's the other tactic they might want, just to make many other things happen. But, as I say again, the personal investment, people have lost relatives, that's why they'll never let it go.
And that's why they say a week is a long time in politics, because should something like that happen, boy, everything moves on, and suddenly, what did he eat cake, didn't he? Nobody even...
No, it doesn't,
it's that thing, isn't it?